Who is your future self? How do you get clear on this person and how do you embody her in every cell of your body today? I'm Pratna and you're listening to Rebel with a Purpose. And it's been a while since I've recorded a solo episode. Honestly, I've just been so in my element, going inwards, learning more about spirituality, growing in my consciousness, traveling the world. It's been an amazing first half of 2026. But with the second half of 2026, I really plan to come up with a lot more episodes and value to my audience directly on Instagram or Telegram. I want to get really clear and zone in on my genius because I know what that is, and I'm extremely clear on what my life looks like years down the line, which is what I want to help you with in this episode today. And I'm so excited that you're here because I know you will get so clear after this episode. This episode is not an episode you listen to when you're walking in the park or when you're on the treadmill. Honestly, this episode you listen to sitting down with yourself. This is a reflective episode. I'm going to ask you questions, I'm going to give you prompts. So make sure you have a pen and paper with you, or even like a digital notepad where you can take notes. Now, I am 100% sure you're going to leave this episode with a lot of downloads, with a lot more clarity. And if you have any questions or you just want to discuss it with me, I'd be more than happy. So please DM me at Purpose with Pratna if you want to discuss your answers with me or have any more questions for me. Let's get started. First, I want to speak about what is your future self. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I use the word future self a lot. It's part of my branding at this point. And why is it so important to me? I'm going to actually give you a little backstory to that too. What is a future self, right? A future self is basically a version of ourselves that's in the future. Now, this version already exists in the quantum reality because in the quantum reality, time does not exist. The past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. Yes, this is metaphysics, and I don't want to go into depths of it because it's a little more complicated than you would expect. And all you need to understand is the 5D and the 3D operate very differently. We are living on a 3D reality, but we are 5D beings. Okay, let me just dumb this down. I want you guys to really understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to make an effort to simplify everything I'm saying. Our future self is basically a version of ourselves that already exists right now in this moment. She or he is guiding us in every moment. She's giving us clues on what to do in order to get to this scenario. Now, at every point in time in our life, in our 3D life, right, we have choices to make. What is life? Life is a series of decisions that we make. Every choice we make either takes us closer to our future self, which I call the best case scenario, your ideal life, or further away from your future self, or into the worst case scenario. Now, I do believe that the worst case scenario rarely happens because I believe our positive thoughts are a lot more powerful than our negative thoughts. And so I have a positive outlook when it comes to my visualizations and the way I think. Obviously, I've worked on that a lot, but I make sure that I don't think about the worst case scenario too much. Yes, I prepare for the worst. I expect the best in life. I always expect the best and I prepare for the worst. So I always have a plan in case things don't go according to my plan. Like in case there are not enough signups, what are we going to do then? I like to have that certainty in my life. It gives my nervous system safety. That's why I have it. But I always expect the best. And I always want to move towards my highest timeline, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you want to do. So all I want to say to you is your future self exists right now, but she is not perfect. She is flawed. She still experiences fear and challenges. The difference is that she doesn't identify with her fears anymore. She trusts herself more than she trusts her limitations or her fears. Her desires are bigger than her doubts. She is living closer to her fullest expression and potential than ever before. So the key takeaway from this is your future self is not a different person. She's a more expanded expression of who you already are. Okay? She's not someone new and different. You can recognize her. Honestly, if you look at her, she looks exactly like you. She's a version of your becoming. That's your future self. Why does this matter so much and why do I talk about it so much in my branding and in my business is because this modality of connecting with my future self has helped me a lot with my confidence. I used to be one of the most insecure people I knew. I struggled with low self esteem. I constantly put other people's opinions on a pedestal. I asked everyone for their opinion, never trusting my own intuition and instinct. And so it was really important for me to come into my power and into my being to question status quo, to go against society, to rebel, and to create my own unconventional path. And that is a big part of my story, is being a rebel. I call my clients sacred rebels. Okay, so why is this so important is because when I lacked confidence, I remember visualizing a lot when I was in high school and college and even university, where I would see my future self and I would see her achieving all these beautiful things, being so powerful, so calm, so kind, so respectful, yet so humble. And she would guide me through the darkest moments of my life. And she honestly has helped me so much. This is why I want to share this work with the world, because she has helped me transform inside out from being extremely insecure to feeling extremely confident and powerful in who I am and showing up as my most authentic self online without much fear and shame. There is still fear and shame for sure. I'm still imperfect, but it's not as much as it used to be. I've overcome my stage fright almost completely. Of course, I'm a little scared, but you should have seen me before. I used to shake on stage. Like, I remember at one point of time, I was reading this paper in high school, and I couldn't read because my hands were shaking so much and I just could not read. It was so embarrassing. Everyone's parents were there. One of the most embarrassing moments. Another embarrassing moment was university year one in Singapore. I was on stage, like last minute pushed on stage because my friends didn't prepare. They were like, "Can you go? Can you do it?" Because I was extroverted. Pushed me on stage. I froze. I literally do not know what I was saying. I know I sounded really dumb. I tried to sound really smart. And when you try to sound really smart, you end up sounding dumb. That was literally me on stage, and I froze on stage. So I've had really bad, embarrassing moments. It took me a while to actually get on stage after I had that moment because it was that embarrassing. But coming back to my future self work, it has really shaped the way I see myself, and I really want that for you. I want you to start seeing yourself in your highest power, in your highest vision, so that you feel confident and magnetic in a version of yourself that does not need anything from anyone. That's what causes you to attract opportunities, abundance, people into your life. And I want you to get into that state of attractiveness, that state of magnetism, right? Okay, so now that you know what your future self is and why is it important, my story basically, let's get into what your life looks like. Maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, you can choose a timeline, you can choose a milestone age you'll be approaching, you can choose any moment. I generally choose 10 years down the line, or sometimes I've even done 20 years down the line. So it depends. Whatever's calling out to you right now, just pick a time. Don't overthink it. Okay, pick a time that you want to choose. Let's just get clear on that one time frame. I want you to, by the way, if you haven't done my meditation, please do that meditation. It's going to help you get so much more clearer on what this vision looks like. It's also part of the my Spotify, so you can find it. And if not, just DM me with the word future self and I'll send you my meditation. Okay. So, in case you're not very clear on what you want in your life, which I feel like you are, because if you're listening to this, you're probably very conscious and self aware. But if you're not, here are a few questions that can guide that thinking and can help you create a clearer vision. Based on your past experiences, I want you to ask yourself what lights you up the most? What makes you feel most like yourself? What makes you feel the most fulfilled in your past, right? When are you the most authentically yourself? Because that shows when you're in your most joyous element, and you probably want more of that in your future life. Who inspires you the most, and what about them inspires you the most? Is another question you can ask. And lastly, what do you envy in others? Because sometimes envy is a beautiful window into our own desires. When you see someone having something and you look at it and you're like, oh, I wish I had that. It could show you what you truly desire and value in your life and what you want in your life. Only if that provides you with joy and happiness internally, not pleasure, right? Pleasure comes from, like, say, comparing yourself to someone who's not reached where you are and being like, oh, at least I'm better off than him or her. That is pleasure because that's temporary. I want you to look at this vision from a point of view of sustainable happiness, not pleasure. Bliss. We're looking at bliss over here, okay? So, what, when you're asking these questions, I want you to get clear on also asking, does this give me just pleasure or does this give me bliss? Does this give me just pleasure or does this give me bliss? So, I hope these questions help you get clearer on what you truly want from your life, right? And over here, I want you to really get clear on your dream life, your dream business, your dream relationships or relationship, your dream health, Create your soul-led vision. Anything and everything that's coming, I want you to literally pause this episode and journal, like freestyle journal right now about your dream life, business, relationship, health. Where do you live? How do you spend your mornings? What work are you doing? What impact are you creating? How do you feel on a daily basis? Take a moment, pause this episode, and journal on this. Once you've gotten clear on your vision of your dream life, I want you to ask, what does a dream day look like, an ideal day look like to you? Your perfect day. Get clear on your perfect day. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. Get clear on your perfect day. Again, pause and journal on that. Now, once you're clear on your vision and your perfect day, I want you to ask yourself, this is number 3, okay? Who must you become? Once we know where we're going, who is the woman capable of creating that life? What are her standards, her beliefs, her emotional state, her habits, her boundaries, her relationship with uncertainty, her relationship with failure? Whatever's coming up, who is this woman who's leading this life? You got clear on the vision, you got clear on your ideal day. Now, who is this woman who's leading this life? Who is this woman who is leading this life? Her beliefs, her patterns. What does she think about success? What does she think about failure? How does she react when she gets rejected on a sales call? How does she create content? How does her content perform? How does she feel? Get really clear on this woman. Pause again, get clear on her. And now that you're clear on your vision, your ideal day, as well as the person who's living this day, this is a really important question, Yon. This is really important to have a serious conversation with yourself at this point. What is the biggest difference between who you are today and who she is? Whatever comes up, write that down. What is the biggest difference between who you are today and who she is? And this is about finding the gap, not the external gap, the internal gap. The difference in your beliefs or in your fears, in your identity, in your actions versus what your future self believes, what her actions are, what her standards are. The biggest thing separating you from your future self is rarely a strategy. It's usually an identity. So there must be a lot of thoughts that are coming up and a lot of beliefs that you feel like you need to shift, which is great. Write them all down, but focus on the one that just stings the most in this moment. The biggest bottleneck, the biggest belief that is holding you back. You can write down as many that's coming up. Don't stop yourself. This is clarity season. We're getting clear right now. Allow yourself to just write. But what is the biggest one? For me, for a very long time, and I think maybe even now actually, I would say is self-doubt. It's much lesser, but it's still there. The self-doubt. In the past, it was fear of failing, which was also part of self-doubt, but it was a lot more about like, what if I fail? What if I fail? Now it's a lot more of, actually, now it's not even about self-doubt. I think my mind goes very strategic with it right now. So it's not even self-doubt. It's not enoughness. Yeah, I'm not good enough. That also is connected to self-doubt, right? So not enoughness is connected to everyone. A lot of us probably have the feeling of not good enoughness that holds us back from our future self. And ask yourself, where does this pattern show up the most? Where does this pattern show up the most? Not feeling good enough, for example, show up the most. Okay, amazing. That's a lot of work done already. So if you're here, you're halfway through the journaling and the clarity in this episode. Now that you're clear on the gap, you're clear on the on where this pattern shows up in your life, whether that's in relationships, that's in business, life, or just all areas, I want you to actually ask yourself, what are the 3 areas in your life that you want to prioritize for the next 1 year? Is it business, relationships, health, family, social life, love life, spiritual life, mental health? Like what? Get really specific with the 3 areas you want to prioritize. Set a 12-month vision for these 3 areas. What do you want to achieve at the end of a year in these areas that will take you closer to your future self? And then I want you to ask yourself, if you could 10x any one of the goals, which one would you choose to 10x? That is your biggest priority right now. For me, most of the time it's business. Whenever I say, can I 10x one of them, I look at business. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, I want to 10x my business. I really do. I really desire that. And so it shows that that's a huge priority for me to take me closer to my future version. Now, once you have your priorities and the biggest priority of them all, I want you to get into number six, the art of uncommitting. Most people don't fail because they aren't committed. They fail because they are overcommitted. Okay, so a lot of times our future selves are created by subtraction, not addition. Let's remove what's in the way of getting to our future self. What are the goals that we need to let go of that's not taking us closer to our future self? What are the projects that we don't need to do that is not taking us closer to our future self, right? We're just doing it because it's convenient, or it's just there, or it's giving us some money. And if you need the money right now and if that's going to provide safety to your nervous system, then that's okay. But honestly, look at the abundance and opportunities are all around you, and focus on what's really important for this long-term vision that we dialed down in this episode. That's really important. A lot of times we are stuck, and it's really funny because I know a lot of my friends who have wealthy parents, or they have the money, or they have the resources, and they still choose to do a job. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong in doing a corporate job, but I know the friends I'm talking about, they have a deeper desire to start their own business. They have a deeper desire to live life on their own terms. They have a deeper desire to have more freedom in life. And yet they're like, yeah, but I have this interview. I'm just going to see how it goes. And if it doesn't go, and I'm praying it doesn't go well so that I can start my job. And I'm like, why? Why are you even praying it doesn't go well? Why not just start your job, like start your business? A lot of times we're very scared to do that because it's the unconventional path. And that is going to require a lot of you being brave, because there's going to be a lot of resistance, because it's not normal in society today to start a business right off college, for example, which is what I did. So it is really important to understand what do you really need to let go of in order to get closer to your future self quicker. Let's use the word quicker, okay? Because we're all going to reach our future selves anyway, but it's about getting to our future selves quicker, accelerating that, collapsing time, right? So, what goals to let go of? What distractions to let go of? Like for my friend, her job interview is literally a distraction. It's a distraction. She doesn't even want it. She literally doesn't want it. She's manifesting not to get it. She literally texted me today saying, I will text you after my job interview. Maybe we can plan a trip somewhere. And I'm like, sure. Because she's waiting for the job. Like, if she gets the job, I know she's going to take it. But I did speak to her and I told her, be brave. You have the age and the privilege on your side. Start the business. The job is not going to give you the experience you're looking for right now. And so when I said that, she was like, you're so right. I really want to start right now. So, yeah, I truly think that a lot of times we're just so fearful of taking an unconventional path that we say, oh, I need to have money right now. I need to have the safety. When you actually don't, when you probably already have the resources, or you probably already have the opportunities which are around you, but you're not noticing it because you're like, no, I have to be financially independent by this age. And when you say that, you kind of give up on your purpose and your dreams, because it is a long-term path. Like, that's why I never use the word business, I use the word legacy. I'm not saying that it happens overnight, or in 1 or 2 years you're earning as much as you wanted to earn. It's going to take longer, but over time it's an exponential growth. That's how businesses are. It's exponential. So if you have the privilege to do that, to have the time to do that and to have exponential growth, then just do it. That's my view on this, right? So I uncommitted to the corporate world. I uncommitted to going for more interviews. I uncommitted to my life in Singapore. I sacrificed that. It's a beautiful life there. If you're not in the corporate, it's a beautiful life standard of living. But I had to sacrifice it to start my own business from the stability of my home, where I wasn't spending excess money for no reason. So I came back home and I love it here. I genuinely have loved being at home. And I'm also saving up on my rent and a lot of other things, and I'm reinvesting that in my business. So, what can you uncommit to get closer to your future self? Is the question to ask. Again, pause and journal on this. And now, part seven, going from need to want to knowing. Needing comes from this energy of desperation or attachment or fear, attachment to the outcome. Wanting is about desire, preference, and knowing is certainty, trust, and detachment. Your future self, she already has it. She doesn't need anything from anyone. She doesn't want anything. But that's only because she knows it's unfolding. There is no need to even want because she knows it. She feels it so deeply in her bones. She knows it's unfolding. She trusts herself to create her dream life. She is so, so certain and confident about herself that she's not in the phase of needing or wanting. She's in the phase of knowing with certainty, with trust, beyond any logic. That's the phase that I want you to operate on every single day. And I know that's difficult, which is why a big part of my coaching is spiritual foundation, because without faith, without trust in God, without trust in your future self, it is so hard to not worry, to not be attached to the outcomes. I literally say worrying is practicing atheism. If you truly believed in God, if you truly believed that there is a co creator divinely protecting you all the freaking time, would you worry? If you knew your results were inevitable, if you knew your success was inevitable, would you worry? Right? You would not, because you trust, you surrender, you know there's a bigger path, there's an invisible force taking care of you. That's why you don't worry. You come into a place of, I know. I'm just so certain. I'm confident in my abilities and also in God's abilities and also in my future self. It's the trifecta. You, your future self, and God is the trifecta. That's what I teach in Spiritual Foundation. Without that, honestly, you cannot build a stable business. You are constantly going to feel the highs during launches going well and feel the lows when launches don't go well. Your nervous system capacity is going to crash. You might make a few bucks, but it's going to all come crashing down. It is very important to have the nervous system capacity and capability to hold money for long term, to sustain the results that you want to get in your life and business. Okay, and now let's beautifully move on to how I do this, moving from wanting to knowing. A lot of times, our subconscious mind needs evidence, it needs logic, to be honest. And when you don't have the evidence to prove, what I do is I focus on the gain, not the gap. So, this is where I bring a mindset shift. I focus on how far I've come, my progress, the days where I honestly thought I wouldn't survive, I survived it. I survived 100% of my bad days. And so I celebrate my growth. I acknowledge the evidence I have from my past experience. I build self trust and I recognize my expansion. So I focus on the gain, not on the gap, not on the lack. The gain, what I have gotten, what I have made progress in my life. And by that evidence, I use that evidence to show my subconscious mind that, hey, see, you're smarter than you think you are. You're more capable than you think you are. You can definitely get your dreams. It is not far-fetched. It is normalized. I also put myself in rooms where others have already achieved what I want to achieve to normalize it in my nervous system that this success, it's not a big deal. It's not out of the blue. It's not scary. It is normal for me. Okay, and lastly, going into presence. A lot of what I said, when you are certain, when you trust, when you detach, you automatically go into presence because you're not worried. Performance comes from fear. Performance comes from proving something to someone, from worrying whether you'll get there. It's really important to move away from that energy when you truly trust God and build a deeper connection with your future self and with God. You stop forcing, you stop chasing, you actually start living your life. So it's really important to come into presence. It's not about how much work you do in a day, it's about the quality of work you do. It's always about the quality. The more you love your work, the more you will put an effort to make it good quality. And when it is good quality, trust me, where there is value, currency goes. Where there is value, currency goes and money flows. So when you can focus on value and impact, money is just a byproduct. Focus on value and impact, let money be the byproduct. And the more value you can create is only when you're being present. And you can be present only when you get out of needing and wanting and go into knowing. And you can go into knowing when you build a deeper connection with your future self and with God. So, the end of this episode, I want to say your future self isn't waiting for you at the finish line. She's literally walking beside you every single day. She's literally here in the now. She's listening to this conversation. She knows what your life looks like. Her energy is omnipresent, it's always with you. The question is not whether you'll become her, because that's inevitable. The question is how quickly you're willing to trust her guidance, because that will take you to her quicker. The question is to accelerate the timeline. We're not looking at whether you will be successful or not. You are an inevitable success. You just are. You gotta believe that. I'm sorry, you don't have a choice. Like, if you're on this episode, you gotta believe that. You are an inevitable success. The only thing that I want you to know is that you can accelerate getting to your future self by trusting her guidance, by seeing and visualizing her every single day and yes, if you don't have a meditation, please ask me for it and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Please do it every day. I'm also doing a future self frequency experiment in my Telegram group. It's all for free. It's 15 days. We're going to go through this, like this whole episode that I did with you, very deeply, okay, for free. And you get so much value out of this. You will get so connected to your future self. You can connect with me, ask me questions. Let's brainstorm. Let's build this version of your life together. And I will share the meditation even on that group so you can do it every single day and get clearer on your vision, get clearer on your future self, embody her, feel aliveness, energized, motivated every single day in your business. I truly want that for you. I'm so, so excited. If this is something that's resonant with you, then just DM me and I'll get you on the group and I will send you the meditation to start doing. We start 15th June. And if you're listening to this podcast after 15 June, you can still always come into the group and listen to it because it's going to be there. I'm going to keep these trainings on. It's going to be there. It's going to be a big part of the group. And it's going to be a gift to everyone who joins the group too. So if you're listening to this later, you can still get the value. Come in. Just come in. Just DM me future self and come in. Thank you so much for being here. I honestly loved doing this episode. I felt really called to do it today. And I think there's so much gold in this. Of course, there's a lot of information, but that's why I created this group and that's why I created the experiment. So if you truly want to deeply get clear on everything we spoke about in today's episode, then just DM me future self. I'll get you into the group and I will send you the meditation so you can start getting motivated and activated on this version of yourself. Thank you so much for being here. I am Pratna. You're listening to Rebel with a Purpose, and I am Pratna signing off.